Tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast, Tim Cook says there's no coordination between tech companies concerning what some are calling conservative censorship. iPhone sales are down in India because the Indian government is dumb. Screwing it up. Some schools now let students pay for stuff and get access to their rooms through iOS devices. And New Zealand says, sign the papers, old man. All tonight on the Mac to the Future live go something or other. Hello, everybody. It is the Mac to the Future show. I am your host, Guy Searle. And I was going to say, naturally, of course, I have Mr. Warren Sklar here, but that's not always a for sure thing, is it? Is it, Warren? Whoops.
Hey.
Now, hold on a second. Where are you? There you are. My goodness. I meant to have you come in all by yourself, and I blew it. There you are.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing. That's kind of cool. Yeah, lower third. Amazing.
I'm like a child seeing himself in the mirror for the first time.
I know, it's like, ooh,
that's me.
It's magic.
It's me.
Magic.
Yeah, not summer's rough, but it's calmed down, so I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
But you're free to get whoever you want on the show whenever you want.
No, dude, come on. I'm okay with it. Yeah, and the thing, I love having David on, but the problem is having like three people on at the same time. It becomes a little unwieldy. You know, it's like.
But it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We should do that again. Let's go for 4 next time.
That would actually probably work better.
Actually, can we go? Can we do like 9 in Brady Bunch fashion? And like we could.
I actually don't know.
Can you get like 9 people on the screen? I'll be like, you could be like Alice in the middle, and I'll be like one on the side, and we could point to whoever's talking.
Okay. According to what I'm seeing here in Mimo Live, the absolute maximum is 6. That's as far as I can make it. And I'll show. Well, I don't know if you'll see it. I'll show you what that looks like.
Wait, there was
so here's 6. The 2 of us, 2 horizontal. I can go 3. 6 in a row, which is like, that's just not right.
Wait, there's like 2 of me though. That's funny.
And then I can also do this where I'm the host and I'm doing this, and everybody else is down there on beneath me, as it should be.
I like this one. If you get more people, and what you could do is, you could ask a question and then point to the person you want to answer.
I don't know if that would quite work.
It might work. So you're like, and Tim said that he can't do it. What do you think? And point it out. Somebody down there. And they'll look up and go, I don't know, God. I don't know.
Okay, there's 4. That's like the standard right there.
On top of each other now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll just go back to the 2. Here we are playing with a program that probably shouldn't be doing, but it is.
It's fun.
It is fun. It is fun. Speaking of technology, I was showing you this earlier.
Yes.
You'll notice I am not wearing them.
No, we tried.
We did try.
Yeah.
And there's some more experimenting needs to be done because I could not hear anything out of this computer. And they were paired. Yeah. I had them paired, and I don't know. So
yeah, I was telling you that I have Boom Audio, which is in the app stores. Boom.
What now? Are you doing this again through your Surface device or iPad, or is this through?
That didn't work, so I did the Mac. The Mac's ready.
Okay,
it's on my Mac. Yeah, Surface is right here. Hi, Surface.
So sweet, little Surface.
But anyways, yeah. So
yeah,
it's if you have third-party audio programs,
right?
I found that I had to quit those all out before my AirPods were happy. So I don't
So
know.
they were unhappy AirPods.
Right.
Okay.
See, the little sad face.
Sad. I don't know what happened.
I
Okay.
don't know. All
Well,
right.
yeah. So we
So,
couldn't. I couldn't get it to work.
anyways, you're gonna like the AirPods.
Assuming, you know, because I actually, you know what, I was right after I got them. You know, I do the Guy's Daily Drive thing,
Yeah, but you can't wear them when
and
driving.
well, I do, or I did, and I do that
Right.
all through this iPod Touch.
You'll get pulled over. They don't like it.
Maybe, but if I have it in the other ear, they can't see it. So
Well, if you have
I
a
have a
phone in, I
little
think it's all
mount
right.
for people who've seen Guy's Daily Drive. I have a little mount underneath my rearview mirror that I put this up, and then I can see myself through the front camera in the iPod Touch, even though the rear camera is a better camera. But it helps me to be able to see what that's focused on instead of having that facing out. And so I paired it with the iPod Touch, and the microphone worked, but the audio was terrible. And of course, that's not a huge surprise because the microphone in the AirPods are meant for telephone calls. You know, they're not really meant for
dictation.
for good audio. So, but the cool thing about it, as compared to all the other things that I've tried to do with audio with Guy's Daily Drive, the AirPods had the best noise rejection. It didn't pick up hardly anything from the car. It didn't pick up road noise. It didn't pick up any of that. All it was picking up was my voice. And if it had sounded better, I would have been, yay, here's the solution. But it didn't. So, sad face.
Well, I thought about you because you know how I review things for mymac.com.
Sure.
So they sent me two things.
What they send you?
These are dash cams. Like
I've actually been looking at those. I've been looking at dash
this is something I never used or thought about using, but these are neck space, and this is the better one because it's a 4K it records in, and it's got a digital back, and this one is not quite
4K is questionable if it actually records in 4K. That is questionable.
Look, it says 4K.
Oh well, as long as it says it on the front there, then obviously I'm wrong.
So I've been playing with them because I've never used them, but I think I'm going to keep at least one of them because they're pretty neat, actually.
Well, these days it's actually not a bad idea to have something like that.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, at this point, I see a lot of crazy things out there, and I might as well be a part of that. So, anyways, you stick it on there, and it's you record what's going on, but you could easily just turn it around towards you.
Most of them have rear cameras too.
Yeah.
No. Or you can, if you have a rear view, because I have a rear view camera in the Kia Soul, and some of these actually have a camera input.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I got two of them, so I could put one in the front window and one in the back window, but that seems kind of silly. But anyways, you could do your daily drive on one of these. So
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but no,
most of the ones I've been looking at have been ones that attach to your mirror and kind of cover your existing mirror, and the cameras are facing out from there. They're mostly front facing, so that you can see what's going out on the front.
I'm recording us.
Oh, that is so meta.
And
so now you're recording you, recording me, recording you, recording you.
Inception. Like if I move this way, everything's moving. Yeah,
it's all opposite land.
It's trippy. Okay, but yeah, These are fun. So look out for my review on mymac.com
from Sklorenoir.
It's been a while.
We have failed to pronounce your name for the last time. Failed to pronounce your name wrong today.
For the last time. Today.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, getting on to.
Well, that's fun. Fun tech stuff.
It is. Oh, I love doing that stuff.
I got a new clear case for my Macs because
nice. You want to show everybody.
I want to show off the color of it. Also, my wife hasn't noticed that I replaced my X with the Max yet.
Bonus.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
But what are you going to do once she sees this show?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. But the case might give it away. So I think that's going to be the issue. So this is me saying, I got a new phone, honey.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Anyhow.
Okay. First topic for discussion tonight. This is a story. I forgot to do the things I normally do, where I have things come up like that. Didn't do that today, so you'll just have to take my word for it. This is a story out of Engadget, basically saying there was an interview with Tim Cook, and he what are you playing with over there?
I'm plugging everything back in because
Okay.
I like to charge. I'm like that. Go ahead, you keep talking.
Okay.
So I'm not here.
Tim Cook did an interview, and he's claiming that the removal of Alex Jones' podcasts and iOS apps from InfoWars isn't censorship of conservative platforms, but human-based curation. He has also denied any coordination between other tech companies in regards to the removal of InfoWars and associated accounts. So I guess what I'm going to ask you is, in your opinion, was this censorship, and why one way or the other?
Right. So human curated is it's important that he said that, because that's what I think it is. And I believe it. I mean, anybody who has a business or a service could humanly what's the word again? Curate. Humanly curate anything. So
Right.
like if Alex Jones, if there's somebody out there who's an Alex Jones fan who has a service, he could create a whole station called the Alex Jones service, and that's all it is. And he could do that. So that he curated that list. And so we're not gonna
and that you're talking about the iOS app.
I'm talking about I'm talking about in general. If somebody, let's say Elon Musk, decided to come out with decided that in his Model 3s, his iPad in the middle during long shows during long drives will show curated videos that he decided he wanted to put on there. He could put whatever he wants.
Sure. Well, I mean, how different is that from curated lists that somebody can create in YouTube or even on Facebook or any other social media platforms?
Right. So that's all it is. And so basically, it's a fancy word. It's a fancy word for Apple saying,
we don't want to be associated.
This is our, and we picked what's going on there.
Yeah. So, and it is. It's their platform. Yeah. And remember that they're not actually taking down the content. This isn't a matter of Apple and Facebook and Twitter and all these other social media platforms coming and saying, all right, all of this content that Alex Jones has created and InfoWars has created, we're going to remove it from the internet so no one can ever see it again. That's not what's going on here.
They don't even have that.
No, these are RSS feeds. These are feeds of content that Alex Jones and others in his organization have made, and they basically use the podcast that they have that used to go through iTunes to host, not so much to host it, but to make it accessible to other people. And
but is it censorship? No,
I mean, it's not.
It's not censorship.
And if you're an Alex Jones fan, you can still reach the content by going directly to his websites, which are still there, and downloading whatever it is that you want to download right there.
So I'm trying to figure out a good term for censorship as far as when it comes to public media. Obviously TV, they censor sex and language, but who's doing that? So it's the government censoring that.
Well, public airwaves. That's the public important thing. Because if you're on HBO or Netflix or anything, you can have all the naughty words and naughty bits out there that you want to have.
So they're public airwaves. So right now they're not considering the internet public airways at this point.
And they're not
because it's not, because there's no they haven't figured out,
and nothing's licensed.
Right, but as a government agency in any country out
FCC land.
except for China, I guess, because they kind of figured out a way to sort of do it.
Yeah, because
For
they
the
have
most,
no no individual. There's very little in the way
so
of individual rights.
so in a sense, it would be like if if every country ruled like China and said you can only say certain things on the internet or see certain things on the
Right.
internet. And if the United States government came to Apple and said, we don't want you playing Guy Searle's podcast anymore. So that's censorship, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well,
From the government.
that's like the classic example of what the First Amendment was created for. I know that a lot of people, when they talk about these things and they talk about censorship, they say, "Well, you're violating my First Amendment rights." But the thing is, the First Amendment has absolutely nothing to do with Apple and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all of these other public platforms, because the government is not involved in them, and the government isn't going after anyone, or that we know of, that is saying or doing things that the government doesn't like. If the government went and said, Alex Jones, we're not going to let you create podcasts, or we're not going to let you create videos, or we're not going to let you do any of this stuff, that would be censorship. That would be a violation of the First Amendment. But for Apple to say, no, we don't want to have links to your stuff anymore, it's not a First Amendment issue.
And we talked about this before, and it's all
Yeah.
going to come down to the level of dangerousness of a certain podcast or broadcast or something like that.
Right.
If Alex Jones comes on and says the Holocaust or the school shootings never happened, it may not be taken as a threat. If Alex Jones came on and said, tomorrow I'm going to shoot anybody who doesn't agree with Donald Trump,
that's
is
a
that
threat.
freedom of speech? Right? I mean, so it's a
that
threat.
that's the fire in the theater rule.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay. Well, my next question is,
Yes.
do you believe that there was coordination amongst the tech companies or platforms in regards to InfoWars or conservative points of view?
Maybe some of them, not. I don't think all of them were in there. I don't think Apple was talking to Facebook and Twitter about it, but I think there might have been some discussions amongst them, especially after it was.
Well, remember,
More,
Apple was the one that actually took the
they were
first step.
Yeah, they took the first step, and
it was almost like Twitter and Facebook and some of the other public social media companies were waiting for somebody to take that first step. They didn't want to be the ones that were first. And
they shut down his site on what's the one with arts and crafts, and you could sell your own things. Etsy. They shut down his Etsy site.
Really?
They really did.
What could he possibly be selling on an arts and crafts site?
I don't know, but just a fun.
That is funny.
It was peer. I mean, so it's peer pressure in a sense. Apple did it first, and then other companies like, you know what?
We can do that too.
We could do that now that they did it, probably. And,
well, real quick, I want to say hi to Dan Gearson. I know he put this comment up a little while ago, and there just wasn't a chance to say anything. So he's from Pittsburgh, PA, and he has a brand new iMac. Why is it still in the box?
We talked.
You're suffocating. You're suffocating that thing.
He's too worried. He thinks he's going to cry if he has to set it up, but he'll be fine. So.
Yeah. Well, are you talking about the thing with Final Cut Pro?
No.
Because he got that bundled with that machine, didn't he?
I don't know. Maybe it's somebody else. Somebody needs to restore a whole bunch of things, and you're right. That's right.
Yeah,
it was Final Cut Pro. Yeah, Paul was helping.
But that's now associated with his iTunes account. Sorry, with his
that's what
iCloud account. So even if he wipes that Mac completely and restores from a backup from his other Mac, all he has to do at that point is just go to the Mac App Store and re-download it.
Yeah.
So Dan, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Or
Yeah.
just do a time machine backup and restore
Yeah.
and sign into iCloud.
No big
You'll be
deal.
fine.
It'll work.
No big whoop.
Okay. Last thing. Do you think that sites that have been removed from certain social media platforms could get around the ban if they wanted to, and how would they do it?
Yeah. Like Etsy. so
Yeah,
so
just like Etsy.
so say this again.
Mm.
So
All right,
if
so
Facebook,
they're out of iTunes and they're out of from Twitter, and but
right?
there's still nothing that's keeping people that have access to this site. I'm sorry, to Alex Jones Infowars channel, to go on to Twitter and say, Infowars just posted a new thing and here it is, and then provide a link to it that goes back
Sure.
to their main site. And the same thing, kind of the same thing with iTunes. I mean, they could probably submit a like an RSS feed app that isn't necessarily going
Well, they
directly.
did.
Oh, then that got kiboshed also.
Yeah, they
Okay.
got rid. I mean, they took that out. But I guarantee, if I wanted to listen to Alex Jones, I
You
went
could.
to a search engine and said, "How do I listen to Alex Jones?" I'm sure I could.
Yeah.
They didn't erase. They didn't erase the guy from the earth. He's he's still here.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's a way to do it. You know, again, he's probably got more publicity and more people probably want to listen to him now because of this. Although it's probably dying away now because nobody cares anymore. He always destroys news.
His audience. I don't think his audience was that big to begin with.
No.
I think most of these extremist groups from either the left or the right have much smaller audiences than they want to believe, but they live in these little echo chambers and think that everybody believes like they do. When most people are just like, "Shut up, leave me alone." Anyway,
yeah. So Tim,
and that's my answer to both the extreme lefts and rights. Shut up and leave me alone. Who cares what you guys think? All right.
Did you get your alert today? Your presidential
Yeah,
alert?
yeah.
I was in Best Buy. Like, I forgot all about it. I went to Best Buy.
Did the whole store like light up or something?
It was like everywhere. People started laughing. People started crying, running out of the store.
Really?
But
I
it
haven't
was
seen
loud.
that. There was an earthquake here in Virginia. You remember that from a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And
Really?
I was actually in a parking deck playing around on the computer because I couldn't use it in my office, and I felt everything shake. And at first I was thinking, wow, some truck just went back behind me, until I realized I'm on like the second or third floor of this parking deck, and what large enough truck could fit in a parking deck like this. And then I looked up and I saw a lamppost like going back and forth like this, and it's like, crap, it's an earthquake in Virginia, and I should probably not be in this parking deck that was never designed to withstand an earthquake. So I got out of there. I have no idea what that has to do with anything. So we're going to move on to the next subject. This is iPhone XS sales. Sorry, 10s. Got to get that right. Are down in India. This is a story from Cult of Mac. According to some sources, Warren, sales of iPhone XS models are down in India. Besides being pricier than the original iPhone X was, Apple has also had to deal with custom duties doubling from last year, as well as not being allowed to open official Apple stores in the country. Now, this was in spite of meeting India's requirements of 30% of any any company's products having to be manufactured in India. One other problem is that Apple may be forced by Indian law to allow or include an anti-spam app that lets government officials access call and text message logs, which is against Apple's privacy policies, and they've been kind of pushing back against that. So do you think Apple is worried about their Indian market, or because it looks to me like
There's something very ironic about having an anti-spam law in India, because it
Yeah.
seems like all the spam calls I get come from
Well, either
India
there or Pakistan.
or somewhere.
I am from the IRS. Really? Are you?
Your Windows computer is uh,
Is doing bad things. I'm a Mac
bad
user.
Windows
Oh,
computer.
sorry. You're a Mac user. Your
It's
Mac
a Mac.
computer
Yeah,
doing bad
yes.
things.
Yeah, open up terminal. See all that stuff. Okay.
Here, load this program that will give me access and do naughty, naughty things. Steal your
Well,
information.
I, I I think they're all making up their revenue that way. Maybe Apple, maybe that's their side business. They'll be all right.
It's a new Apple service.
It's a new
That's what
Apple
it is.
service.
New Apple
Fi-
service.
fix your not broken computer
So
for 300 rupees.
so Apple Apple has tried to do everything that the Indian government has requested. They have
I thought they
opened up
allowed it,
application stores, or
but I thought the stores didn't the stores pass. I thought
no,
they met that requirement.
they
The
did.
last I heard, and I thought that was
No,
it.
they're still not letting them do it. So Apple has basically given up on
Well,
creating stores in India and are going to allow for like Indian mega stores by local
right,
local people instead.
right.
So they because they have a factory. I can't remember the name of the company that is helping them with it, but they do have a factory that is making iPhone SEs for the Indian market and for the Indian market alone, as far as I know. So I mean, and I kind of want, but I think the big thing for Apple is this anti-spam law that they're because, and this has got to be a test case, because if India is able to push this through, then what's to keep other governments from doing the same thing? And the problem is, Apple has to follow the laws of whatever country it is that they're doing business in. And so, their options are kind of limited if they want to continue to do business in that country. And I think at some point, if India wants to play hardball, they'll let, they'll whatever contract they have with whatever company it is to make iPhone SEs, they'll honor that contract until the end of whatever the term is, and then they'll say, okay, we're out. No more iPhones for India except for
I
what
don't
you
even
guys
know if
can
they're still
manage to
doing
do.
that since the announcement, because they're kind of stopped. But the SE was discontinued 2 weeks
Well,
ago.
it was
So
discontinued here in the United States. That doesn't
yeah,
necessarily mean
well,
that it's
well,
discontinued
maybe.
elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is technician. This is technology from
Mm.
3-4 years ago, and so it's relatively inexpensive to make, and
Yeah.
it's still very powerful. I mean, if the I think the SE has a A7 in it,
So yeah.
something like that, and it's I mean, let's not kid around here. This is still a very powerful device, and if
Right.
they're able to make it in volume in such a way that allows for the average person in India to be able to afford one, then why not? Okay, so it's not a 10s Max,
No,
but
but
it doesn't have to be.
well, maybe that's the reason why the 10s is not
Right.
selling as well, because everybody's buying SEs. Who
Well,
knows?
yeah, well,
Yeah.
again, this is India doesn't have the thriving middle class that a lot of other countries, that even China is starting to gain traction in.
Oh,
And
India
without that
is like,
middle class,
yeah.
you're
There's
not going to
either
sell
your
luxury devices
well,
in
they
volume.
they have two classes. They have
The rich and
dirt
the poor.
poor,
Yeah.
yeah, and super rich.
Have you been there?
My wife was there, and so
Okay,
she
I've been
she was
there.
telling me that when they drive down the road, you look to the left, and it's like um like poverty. You look to
Mhm.
the right, and it's like super hotel, because it's
Yeah.
hotels and fancy
Well,
stuff.
it's a caste system. So
it's hard. Yeah, they said it's just weird, So,
it's certainly very different.
yeah. So I'm sure the super rich could buy nice phones.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure they do.
that's a limited market.
Hmm.
And that's, I mean, as much as Apple doesn't seem to be that concerned with selling in the huge kinds of numbers that Android does, it still behoves them to sell enough phones to make it worth their while to be in a market. And if they're down in
Yep.
the 1% or 2% range in a country as large as India, at some point it's like, well, is it worth the investment? Especially considering that, they want, India is trying to get them to subvert iOS so that they can get text and browser
Yeah.
information.
Well, they made the effort to try to get into India, so they obviously thought
Well, yeah,
that
well,
it
it's a
was worth
it's a
it.
billion people. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a crap load of people. That's a lot of
So,
people.
but as you said,
Is it worth it?
there's a lot of poor people in India, a lot. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, I- could be 80% of them can't afford an iPhone. Who knows? So, I don't know. It's
Well, do
um,
you think that if India plays hardball with this anti-spam application, that Apple should just pull the plug and get out?
um, I don't know. I mean, if they're gonna let Indian stores sell their iPhones and not in their own store, and if they make enough money doing that, getting resellers to do that, then they'll go as far as they can with the government until it becomes like a PR issue,
Right.
sort of how um the China's iCloud servers became a PR issue.
It
Um,
still is.
it still is, but China,
Excuse me.
bless you,
Sorry. Pardon me.
bless you. Oh, but the cost benefit of China was different than India, so it
Yeah,
depends.
and you also, I mean, they're also making 90% of the phones there.
That's the other problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
it's hard
until
to
they would
piss
be
off.
able to move production from someplace like China to some other country, and it would probably be in the nearer Far East. So you're
You don't
looking
want
at
to.
Thailand, you're looking at Vietnam, you're looking at
You don't want to. You
Myanmar,
don't want to piss off the waitress
Taiwan.
putting your oatmeal.
No, you really don't.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. I like
Yeah. Yeah. All
that.
right.
All right.
So, what's next? Here we go.
Well, we're going to take a little break, I think is what's next.
Okay.
And when we come back, we have two more things to talk about that are a little less weighty. Well, one is anyway.
Thank God.
Just a little bit. So everybody hold on, and we'll be right back.
This is Private Eye Macintosh, and I'm here to tell you about a book written about me and my search for the Maltese Cube. Yes, it's a fine book. I think you should get it. Quiet, you. It combines technology, Mac trivia, action, murder, suspense. Oh, just tell them where to get it. I'll get to that. Romance, film noir detective fiction. I can't stand it anymore. It's called The Maltese Cube, and it was written by my Mac writer and podcaster Guy Searle. Find it on Amazon. It's only $2.99 and coming soon to the Apple's iBook store. Don't forget, it's The Maltese Cube and so inexpensive. You know you're not in it, right? I mean the next one, right? Sure thing, Louis. You know, this could be the start of a beautiful friendship. Get the Maltese Cube on Amazon and soon in the iBook store.
And it just cuts right away. It was supposed to do like this like gradual fade off, and then we come back up. And okay.
I could have been naked.
Oh, I see why. Because I have the transition set to cut. I will change that to dissolve.
I could have been on a toilet. I could have been in so many places.
I don't think you would have done that, knowing that commercial is about a minute long. But I mean, if that's the kind of thing that you're into,
I know now not to do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. Next thing, colleges are starting to
Colleges.
add payment and dorm access through the Apple Wallet iOS app. The universities of Alabama, Duke, and Oklahoma have added the abilities for students to pay for services or access their dorm rooms via the Wallet app on their phones or not wallets, watches. Johns Hopkins University, Santa Clara University, and Temple University are scheduled to be added by the end of this school year. At a glance on the iPhone Wallet app, students can see what they are going to spend and what their balances are through their school's various financial programs. For access to school properties in dorms, an express mode is available this is interesting, that bypasses Face ID. And in my opinion, this kind of shows Apple's methodology for a single platform, hardware and software. This is where it's starting to pay off. Anyone with a recent vintage iPhone or Apple Watch can use these services, while similar services for Android would be much harder to implement and would have far greater security concerns. So basically, these kids, they can go out, they can do whatever it is they want to do if they want to pay for their meals, and it's not just it's not just the schools themselves where this is taking place. There's quite a few businesses that are usually associated with these schools that are also included in this pilot program. So if they want to go and get a pizza or a chocolate malt, because that's what college kids go out and do now, all they have to do, here I am, I'm back in the 50s. All they have to do is just make sure that they have their Apple Watch
Go to the diner, Johnny.
or their Apple phone. Let's go to Pop's Chocolate Shop.
Let's get a. Let's go to the
Okay.
the fountain, the soda fountain.
Soda fountain.
Yeah.
Get an egg cream. People outside of New York probably don't know what an egg cream is.
Yeah, they don't want to know. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
I've actually never had one.
I have. It's
Isn't that great? Okay, well, see, my father grew up in Brooklyn, so
Yeah,
I'm
so did
sure
mine.
he would be very familiar with what an egg cream is.
My dad, and Doc Brown's soda.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had one.
But you've seen them, right?
Yeah.
They're celery flavored soda.
Oh, really?
And my dad loves it. Celery, yeah.
I mean, I've tried, because I know Gatorade has like a celery flavored Gatorade kind of thing now, and I picked it
Yeah,
up once
that's
thinking it was something else. And I took the top off. I took a sip. It was like, WTF? What the hell is this? Toss that out the window. All right. Well, no, I didn't do that, because that would be wrong. Wrong, I say. Wrong.
We don't litter, Johnny.
No, we do not. All right. So, do you think that this is actually kind of cool stuff? I mean, if your kids are going out and they're just going for a jog, or, going to rec centers, or even probably sporting events and things like that, where they need to identify themselves, instead of taking their wallets and their ID cards and whatever other peripherals that they may need. And if they have an Apple Watch with cellular, they don't even need to take their iPhone. They can just kind of walk up and, okay, that's me. And the thing that I found kind of interesting was this express mode that bypasses Face ID. That surprises me.
I don't know. I know the watch could do that. So maybe it's on the watch. Because like for Apple, for anything on the watch, you don't need Face ID, obviously. So maybe it's
there's no way to use Face ID on the watch.
No, well, because it's it's secure
It's tiny.
ID pulse of such.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. I mean, the only thing is, when I was at college, I was able to sneak into some places I probably shouldn't have been, because there was no checks and balances, and now they probably won't be able to get too many places when they're not supposed to be. Which is good for us parents, bad for them, I guess.
Well, the fact that they're able to use all of these different services with just a phone or a watch, I mean, this kind of frees them up to do other things. And, you know, we're starting to get to the point where so many of these schools, I mean, you're not even really taking books with you anymore. What's the point of having books when everything that you could possibly want, you can do on an iPad?
There's still books. Trust me. Yeah, my son will show you his book bag. I mean, there's not as many, but there's still books out there.
Well, there is for now.
You know. Yeah.
You know, as long as the school can still get their.
When I was in college, we had
5,000% markup on books, and then give you pennies on the dollar at the end of the year. What do they care?
When I was in school, we had the stone tablets.
The stone tablets? You got to have stone tablets?
Yeah, and the scrolls.
We had to have an old man follow us and recite whatever it was we were trying to learn.
No, you didn't have the chisel with the stone tablet?
No, that was after I graduated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the chisel was before I graduated, or after I graduated.
Yeah, my book bag was sort of heavy with the stone tablets in there.
Jeff says the many voices of Guy B. Searle. Is there a problem with my audio?
No, he was talking about your commercial with the.
Okay, good. I've had so many problems with audio that I get very paranoid now. All right, last thing that we're going to talk about today.
This is Guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, welcome. Or I could use my French accent, but I won't. All right. New Zealand law now enforced says hand over your mobile devices and passwords or pay $3,200. This is a story from Radio NZ.
Yeah, I saw your article. That's the first I've heard of it, to be honest with you.
And I would have thought that with something like this, this would have been all over the tech news. And I'm kind of surprised that I was just kind of hearing about this now. Now, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, New Zealand has a law. I mean, you may want to think about going to New Zealand, that anyone coming into the country upon demand must hand over their electronic devices and supply the passwords to access it. People who refuse could pay as much as $3,200, that's $5,000 in New Zealand dollars, and have their devices seized and searched forensically. The Customs and Excise Act of 2018, which came into effect today, or I guess yesterday for New Zealand now, sets guidelines around how customs can carry out digital strip searches. Previously, customs could stop anyone at the border and demand to see their electronic devices. However, the law did not specify that people also had to provide a password. The updated law makes clear that travelers must provide access, whether that is a password, PIN code, or fingerprint, but officials would need to have a reasonable suspicion of wrongdoing. Now, here's a quote from Customs spokesman Terry Brown. He says it is a file-by-file search on your phone. We're not going to go into the cloud. We'll examine your phone while it's on flight mode. So
there's not much going on with that. On an iPhone, at least.
What the thing is, and this kind of shows how governments are so clueless when it comes to technology. Like if you're a bad guy and you're going into a country where you're going to do bad things,
mm-hmm.
and you want to have information on your phone or tablet or computer, you don't put that stuff on there as you enter the country, and you download it later.
Right.
Or encrypt it onto some kind of thumb drive that you sent ahead of yourself or whatever. I mean, we're not talking like digital files take up this huge amount of room that you can't access later. Oh God, I'll have to go and get this device that's this big and drag it back to my hotel room. And it's all done electronically. It's not that hard. And I don't really get how politicians in New Zealand considered this to be a reasonable way to try to get information, because the people that they're looking at, because I mean, I did read this story, and I wish for this one, I kind of wish I'd set this up ahead of time.
Yeah.
They've apparently had some problems with organized crime and other things along those lines. And I guess their thinking is, if they can grab these devices from these people coming into the country, and apparently they know who these people are, then they can get all the information that they need. But I mean, these people aren't stupid. They'll basically see what's going on, and they just won't include it.
It's a strange article. I mean, the fact that, yeah, they have prior notice, and the fact that it's not even online stuff. I mean, it is bizarre. That's why I'm surprised I haven't heard about it. If it was, I want to say true.
No, it is true.
Maybe. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, people talk about, when we were just talking about, that ridiculous thing they're trying to do in India. This goes far beyond that. I mean, in India, they just want to look at your call logs and your text messages. This is basically going into everything that you have on your phone locally, and they can do whatever they want with that information. And this is New Zealand, which is a democratically elected government, for the people, by the people, blah, 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 blah. And that, I'm surprised that the people of New Zealand have put up with this.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep them safe, I guess, but it's not
an island nation. It's an island nation.
I hear it's beautiful.
I'm sure it is. I had a trip one time I was going to go to Singapore and New Zealand and Australia, and I did something that ticked off my boss, and he was like, "No, you're not going to go on that trip now." So I never got the chance to go again, which was too bad.
I thought you ticked off Australia like Bart Simpson.
Oh, how hard is that? No, I'm kidding, Australia. I'm kidding. I would love to go. I would love to go to Australia.
I went there, and I didn't go to New Zealand. Yeah. New Zealand. Yeah, I was there, but I didn't go there. And the Australians, because I didn't really know the difference. I thought New Zealand
was the same.
Was the same as Australia. And
yeah, don't say that while you're there.
If you tell the Australians that, they get very upset, and they're nice people too.
Yes.
Oh no, we're not. No, not us. Oh,
that's like England and Ireland. Don't go to Ireland and say, "Oh, you guys look just like the English." Okay, don't do that. Don't.
You guys all talk the same. You all talk funny.
Yeah. All right. All right. That is all I have for this evening. Do you have anything else going on there, Warren, that you want to talk about?
No. Let's see what happens with this.
With the cameras?
Yeah, see if Apple announces some kind of event. That will be the next big thing for us.
Well, we were talking on Facebook earlier. They just announced that they're having trouble fulfilling 5K iMac orders because they can't get enough screens.
Right, but historically, October is going to be possibly an event for hardware, such as iPads. So we'll see if they come, because it's time. I gotta buy something new.
I mean, I have my first gen 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and I'm still quite happy with it. It's still plenty fast. The only thing I wish it had was more internal storage.
I sold my iPad Pro. I had a 10.5 and I sold it. I sold that with my iPhone X or 10 to buy the big iPhone, because this thing's almost the size as like an iPad mini. So I figure, why do I need two?
Well, when I was at Best Buy, I held up my 8 to the 10s Max. Yeah. Didn't seem like it was that much bigger.
No,
because they've really taken the bezel-less.
Look how small it is compared to me.
Wow. Oh, I see myself in its mirrored like image.
Look, it's tiny. I'm here
Ah,
somewhere.
where am I? All right. So if people want to get a hold of you, Warren, just Facebook, right? That's it.
Yeah, Facebook me.
Facebook you over
Yeah,
there on Mac to the
message me.
Future, which is like the whole point of all this.
Yeah, we're actually we're taking off. Ed just posted we're getting we must have got like 30 or 40 new people this week.
Wow.
Somebody put the word in. That's good.
Well, they shouldn't be coming in and watching this live cast. Yeah.
They should be.
They should be.
Gotta get the word out.
But they're not. All right.
How about you?
If you'd like to get a hold of me, I can be reached guy@mttfgo.com or guy@mymac.com. I can also be found on the Twitters as Mac Pettit, and we have a Skype telephone number that we share with the mymac.com podcast, and that is 703-436-9501. So if you would like to hear your voice on the Mac to the Future Go livecast, just call that number, 703-436-9501, and I will play it. I'll play it right here because I have the technology. I can do that.
The fine people of mymac.com.
That's right. If you'd like to help me,
as is, and the guys, and
well, actually, I'm not going to be on the mymac.com podcast this week. I'm going to Ohio. And
sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine. I'm going to go see my buddy Dave and his wife Joyce. Oh,
Okay.
be nice. And then we're going to go to the Cleveland Browns and Baltimore Ravens
I'm really
game.
sorry. Oh God.
No.
It's terrible.
I love going to live football. I don't care who's playing. I love going to live football games.
Football too, but Browns,
Hey.
Ravens.
They're actually Ravens are doing pretty well this year.
My Giants are not doing so well. We're 1-3. I went to the game.
Well, who's picking it up in the NFC East? Is it still Philly? Is it Philly again this year?
They're 2-2 now. They've won 2. They lost 2.
Isn't that where the Redskins are too? Washington.
Redskins had a good start. They lost the last game or two, and Cowboys. Redskins had a bye week. I think they're 2-1. I think Cowboys and Eagles are kind of in the top, and then it's Washington, and then way down is the Giants on the bottom.
Well, now you know how the people in Cleveland feel. They've been down. They've been down for so long.
They won their first game.
I am delighted that
they won their
Browns
first game in like
better.
2 years. They won it. So
well, they tied Pittsburgh, which was like amazing.
Right, but
then they beat who'd they beat? Indianapolis? Was it or
no, somebody else?
Somebody they weren't expected to beat. Well, regardless, they beat somebody, and so everybody was really happy.
Did you see that guy? That guy from the Chiefs.
Which guy from the Chiefs?
The quarterback.
Oh yeah, that guy's like freaking. He's a monster. Well, and it helps. It helps that the Chiefs have just that incredible offensive line.
Right. He's like a rookie. He was a rookie last year, but now he's a starter. And,
well, they got rid of Alex Smith, which I think was a mistake, but okay.
No, this guy.
No, he's really good. But
had that left-handed throw. It was. Crazy.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It just kind of tossed it in front of him.
He's like.
But with what he's been doing, see, I look at him, and it reminds me of Randall Cunningham, how he was like a running quarterback, and was great for a couple years, and then because he was getting hit so much, and you could say the same thing about what's his name? He was with Atlanta. Kind of bounced around the league after some issues. God.
Quarterback?
Yeah. Really good. A lot of talent. Well, regardless, these quarterbacks. No. These quarterbacks that are running. I don't even know how we got started on this. These quarterbacks that are running quarterbacks.
Because you were
offensive linemen and linebackers. They salivate when they know that they have a running quarterback. Because unless they develop eyes in the back of their head, they know at some point in the game, one of those guys is going to get the chance to hit them. And
See, the Giants, we don't have a running quarterback, and our offensive line is offensive. So it's
it's
bad.
not, you know what? Eli Manning is not a bad quarterback.
No.
But you've got to give him at least 2 to 3 seconds in the
Oh,
pocket.
yeah,
You look at Tom Brady. Any quarterback that can get, and with Brady, in Brady's case, it's like 3 to 5 seconds in the pocket.
Right.
They'll find someone to throw the ball to.
Right.
They're all good athletes. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna end this for tonight. So, if you would like to help me create and keep all this stuff going, I have a Patreon page. Just look me up there, either Guy B. Searle or Mac Parrott. You can also find me over on coffee.com, ko-fi.com, where my name there is Guy Searle or Mac Parrott. Yeah, so it's. I'm guessing there's like a theme. There's a theme happening here.
You're a parrot.
So so thank you all so very, very much for joining us tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast. Sorry, Mac to the Future Go livecast.
It's like my Surface Go.
Exactly. Unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong, we will be back next week. Appreciate it. And Warren, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You gonna be on next week? You see any issues?
No.
I'll be back. I'll be back from Jeff.
Pennsylvania.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
All right, I'm out. See ya.